Hello, my name is Sam Westrike, and in this second tutorial video, I am going to show you how to submit your sequence results files and your protocol data to the Mosaic Standards Challenge. We can start by navigating to the Standards Challenge. On this left-hand side, you'll see this Request Samples tab. This is where we placed our order and received a sample kit. After we have processed that sample kit, we can provide our results by going to the Data Submission tab. Here, we will create a personal standards workspace first. This workspace will not incur any charges to you. All hosting charges will be paid by the challenge hosts. We will then upload our sequencing files to this workspace, and we will then provide the metadata. Let's begin by creating our personal workspace. When we click here, we can see that we can request a workspace, and we click to do so. Now that we have requested a workspace, we can find that workspace under the Workspaces tab. If we access this tab, we can see that there is now the Standards Challenge workspace that has been created for us. Here, we can upload the files, and they will be ready for us to submit. In step 2, we show you how to upload the sequencing data to the workspace. You can do this through one of two methods. The first method is by using the web UI on the personal workspace. If I return to the workspace, I can select Add Data, and I can drag and drop files here to upload them, or I can select them. However, if you are uploading large files, it's recommended that you use the command line uploader. This will not require the web window to remain open and will transfer files faster and more efficiently. To do so, you can download the Mosaic command line tool and install it. After you have installed the tool, you will need to create an authorization key when you go to upload your data. If we click, we can find that all of this information is listed under the steps to upload assets. Uploading files and uploading assets works exactly the same on Mosaic. We simply download the Mosaic uploader, which is available both for Apple OS X and for Linux, and then we generate our authorization key. When we do so, you will receive a long string, which will be your authorization key. This is only valid for 24 hours, after which you will need to generate a new key. In order to run the Mosaic uploader, we will run a command line command that will take this authorization key and will also include the names of the files and the destination project. So we type in Mosaic --upload --destination, and this project ID can be found in your workspace. Here in your Standards Challenge workspace, if you click this gear icon, you will see the project ID of your personal workspace. Fill in this project ID on the command line for this --destination field. You will then enter --key, where you can copy paste the authorization key that you generated on Mosaic, which is good for the next 24 hours. You can then type --files and type all of the files that you wish to upload to your personal workspace. This will need some time to run and obviously requires an active internet connection, but will upload all of the files that you select into your Standards Challenge workspace. They will then appear here. As these files are uploading, you can then go ahead and start preparing your metadata. In step 3, we submit the data to the Standards Challenge, and it says once the sequencing files are uploaded, or as they are uploading, you may go and begin adding your metadata in the Submission Manager. When I click, this brings us to the Submission Manager, this tab on the left. Here, we can register our sample kits, and we can provide the metadata about those kits, what steps we performed, how we ran the extraction. I click Add a Kit, and I type in the order ID of my kit. We'll call this one 123, and I type in the ID of each of the samples where I sequenced it. If you did not sequence some of the samples, you can simply leave those fields blank. We will say that I sequenced poo number 1, poo number 2, DNA sample number 1, and DNA sample number 2. We'll pretend that I lost these other 3 vials and was unable to complete the sequencing of them. I then clicked Save, and we will see that I am brought to the metadata submission spreadsheet. Here I can see the IDs of each of the samples that I have designated, and I can fill out the metadata. I begin by selecting for each sample whether I ran paired or unpaired sequencing on this. are my reads paired end or are they single end? If they are paired end, you will see two file selection prompts where you can select the forward read file and the reverse read file. If you select that you did unpaired sequencing or interleave sequencing, you will be prompted only for the single file of reads. When you click here, this will bring up the workspaces and you can choose a workspace. And then once you have uploaded your files, you may select the files and attach them to the spreadsheet. You will also have to complete these questions to give us information about what protocol steps you performed. Please note that all of these questions are technically optional except for this very first question. However, questions that are marked in red and are indicated by an asterisk are questions that we would prefer you answer. If you answer all of these preferred questions, then your personal results will be identified to you. When you explore the results, you will be able to see exactly which points and which samples are your own. This information will not be made visible to anybody else, and the submissions from all other participants in the challenge will appear anonymous. Please note that there is no way to answer these preferred questions after you have made your submission. You must choose before you complete your submission whether or not you wish to answer all of these preferred questions in order to see this additional information about your samples. We begin by selecting whether we perform 16S or whole genome sequencing. If we select whole genome sequencing for this column and 16S for the second column, I will show you the differences between these two categories. Some of these questions will determine whether other questions are answered. If you select that yes, you stored samples between receipt and processing, then you will be asked follow-up questions. If you select that no, you did not store samples between receipt and processing, you will not be asked those follow-up questions, and those will not be required for your answer. We have several categories of questions. We asked about sample storage. We asked about DNA extraction, although not for the DNA samples, as these come already extracted. We also asked about DNA amplification, although if you select that you performed whole genome sequencing, we do not ask any questions about amplification as it does not apply. And finally, we asked about the DNA sequencing steps that you performed. You can fill out all of your answers for one column, and then at the top, you can click to copy data over from another column. This will save you time because if you fill out your answers for one column and your answers are the same across all of the samples within the kit, you can simply copy your data over from that column into all the others through a couple clicks to save you a large amount of time so you do not have to complete the same field multiple times. Once you have completed all your answers and you have selected your files, you're ready to submit. If you wish to begin filling out this metadata but you are not ready to submit, you may always select Save Changes at the top. Upon clicking Save Changes, you will be brought back to the Submission Manager where you will find that your kit is listed here as a draft. You can see this is the order ID, this is the date where you first created it, the name of the creator, and if you wish to continue editing this, you may select Add or Edit Metadata. If you create this in error, you can always select Delete to remove this kit. Once you have completed all of the fields, you can click this Submit button. When you click this, if you have not completed all the preferred questions, you will see a prompt. Will confirm that you wish to submit without answering all of the preferred questions. Remember, you cannot return after submission to answer preferred questions. You must provide all your answers before you click Submit. I am not going to make this submission final because this does not have all the answers and this is not the true submission. But once you click Submit, your files will be processed and you will soon be able to view your results. I will discuss that in the next video. Until then, thank you for joining the Standards Challenge.